Back to Hear Me Out. I'm E.
I'm D.
And today we're back in Laguna Beach, right? Uh, you guys' girl, Kristin Cavallari, she's been on social media a lot. But a lot of fans are criticizing her because she says maybe we don't need sunscreen. They just let anybody talk these days. But we're going to read a Yahoo article. I think it might be from People or maybe a Yahoo article itself. And of course, give you our opinions on
Okay.
this comment.
So it's actually a People article, um, where Kristin Cavallari, the headline reads, is criticized for telling fans maybe we don't need sunscreen. The Laguna Beach alum is under fire after she and a guest on her podcast argued against the need for sunscreen. This is an article written by Kara Lynn Schultz. Laguna Beach alum Kristin Cavallari has come under fire as comments she made in January on her podcast, Let's Be Honest, where she questioned the need for sunscreen, have started to circulate on social media. 4 months later, that's interesting. Um, I want to discuss the sun and sunscreen, which I know is controversial, Cavallari 37 said to Dr. Ryan Monahan, a holistic doctor she welcomed on her podcast. I don't wear sunscreen, and anytime I do an interview, I get a lot of ish when I admit that I don't. So talk to me about the health benefits of the sun and why maybe we don't need sunscreen. Totally. It's a very controversial topic, which is so funny because it's the sun, Monahan replied. Like, we've literally spent our whole existence as humans under the sun all day until the last, like 100 years or so. And now we're like shut in. Spend 93% of our lives indoors. That's really bad for a lot of reasons. The sun is life giving and nourishing. As one dermatologist pointed out in a TikTok stitch of the podcast, what these wellness gurus will not tell you is that our ancestors, they didn't get skin cancers because they were somehow immune to DNA damage from ultraviolet radiation, but rather, newsflash, they died before the average age of onset of skin cancer. And as the American Cancer Society points out, the average age for skin cancer diagnosis is 66. Skin cancer is also the most common form of cancer, with 1 in 5 Americans developing it in their lifetime, according to the American Academy of Dermatology. Excess exposure to UV radiation from sunlight or use of indoor tanning also increases risk for all skin cancer types, as does a personal history of the disease, the AAAD said, adding the majority of the melanoma cases are attributable to UV exposure. As the Centers for Disease Control says, your best bet to protect your skin is to use sunscreen or wear protective clothing when you're outside, even when you're in the shade. On the podcast, Cavallari mentioned using coconut oil in the sun, and Monahan suggested eating it instead, claiming an anti inflammatory diet can help keep you from getting sunburned. While research shows that certain foods can impact your body's reaction to ultraviolet damage, Very Well Health reports the outlet also points out the best thing you can do for your skin and overall health is to prevent sunburns. And as the Mayo Clinic Health System advises, avoid so-called sunscreens such as cocoa butter, safflower, olive, jojoba, jojoba, baby or coconut oil that provide no sun protection. So, what do we think about this nonsense?
Well, I just want to say that Ryan Monahan
Hmm.
does not hold an MD. So, again, because he wants to.
Hmm.
Dubbed himself a doctor, but he ain't. I think they just let anybody have a podcast these days. I don't like when celebrities or influencers or whatever, they have all this influence over people and then they're saying erroneous things, harmful things, things that can persuade them to do bad things. I think that they have a level of social responsibility. And this is one instance where she shouldn't say those things. There's research that says, skin cancer is terrible. So why forego, sunscreen and then at age 66, which they said is the average to be diagnosed for skin cancer at 66, you're going to be crying wolf because now you have skin cancer when you could have prevented it all these years. So
Right.
I don't really appreciate her saying stuff like that. I'm going to be ignorant right now and say I didn't even like her in Laguna Beach. It was all about LC anyway.
Wow.
LC and Steven. So she was always problematic, and clearly she hasn't changed.
Yeah.
I don't know why she's saying things like this. And I encourage people to do their own research, do
Hmm.
what's best for you. Don't be influenced by what people are doing because, sometimes they do things and they say things and they might not coexist. So, right now, unrelated, I'm watching The Resident, right? And this is a show on Netflix now. And so one of the guys, a big controversy is vaccinations.
Hmm.
So this guy was a podcaster saying, hey, don't get vaccines. But he needed to be vaccinated to get a lung transplant. Turns out he was already vaccinated and he's telling his audience not to do it.
Oh God.
So the point is not about the vaccines and things like that. The point is sometimes these celebrities lie. They
Yeah.
don't care the repercussions that their whatever they say have. They
Right.
might be lying. So maybe she is putting on sunscreen or a sunscreen-esque type of thing. Maybe
Right.
she just stays inside all day,
Hmm.
and she's encouraging all you guys to go outside and get 8 hours of sunlight. Don't listen to her. She's full of crap. What do
Oh,
you
day.
think?
Well, I mean, I agree with everything you said. um, and but like also, who really gets influenced by Kristin Cavallari? Like ever. Um, but so the sun is good for you, yes. The sun nourishes you, yes. We have had issues of vitamin D deficiency because of course, modern times, most people do stay indoors, right? It's hot outside. Who wants to be outside? I'm gonna be inside with my AC. But yes, we do need the sun. However, we also need to be protected from the sun. Recently, a couple of weeks ago, we had a solar eclipse. What did they tell us? We needed protection, right? Because we're looking up, we need to protect our eyes because you can't look directly at the sun. What happens when you look directly at the sun? You ruin your eyeballs, y'all. So, I don't know. Do you think that being outside and the sun directly hitting your skin and you're not protecting it is really not going to affect it? Like, it just doesn't make sense. And I don't think you should be taking medical advice from someone that was, I don't know, like chasing around a boy in Laguna Beach for however many years. And then like it just there's a lot of things that don't add up about how these people like to say all of these things. If it's not for you, fine, it's not for you, but don't broadcast some of these things. And like I really thought it was dumb how they kept saying, "Oh, it's controversial, controversial." Talking about the sun is controversial. What's the controversy? You
Mhm.
sound dumb. That's it. You're dumb. That's it. There's no controversy. It's either this or it's that. There's no controversy. I can also tell you that if you do not protect your skin, you will age faster. You will get sunspots. I know because one day I forgot to wear sunscreen when E and I were on a trip to Peru. And guess what? In Cusco, Peru, there's a hole in the ozone layer. And that sun came directly on my face. And now I have a sunspot that's never gonna go away because I did not protect my skin. Also, side note, my skin looks very, very red. It was not a good look. I look like a tomato. E was a little concerned for me, but I sure did wear sunscreen the next day. Point is, the
And that
sun
was just one day.
that was just one day. That was just a few hours that we were outside. And it was overcast also
Oh
because
yeah, it was.
that was the day we did Rainbow Mountain. Well, you did Rainbow Mountain, I went back. Um and so it was overcast and rainy, and yet still my face because I forgot sunscreen. So yeah, don't listen to these people. Talk to your doctors, do your research. I don't know, maybe listen to the decades of research that's been done by actual scientists and medical professionals,
Mm.
not someone who decided that it was a great idea to do a podcast because she used to be a reality star. That's all. That's that.
Just don't spread erroneous information. We're not bashing her for having a podcast. We're bashing her because she's saying dumb things.
Yeah.
Just appreciate if celebrities don't say dumb things. Or
Right.
just say, I'm dumb. I'm the one not wearing sunscreen, but I'm not encouraging you not to. At least be some kind of socially responsible. Say, hey, do your own research, do what's best for you. I do this. I can appreciate that
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, that's her life. She does what she wants, but don't say it's unnecessary. It's very necessary.
Yeah.
And for vanity purposes, like Dee said, sunspots, wrinkles, you're going to age faster.
Yeah.
Getting a sunburnt hurts.
Oh my God, I
The
know.
more you're in the sun, the
Oof.
more it hurts. We spent, I don't know, how old were we? Like 18?
No, we're like 20 something, 21? No. No. I think you're right. We might have been like 19, 20 around there.
Well, we were 1920, and there was one day where we went to the beach, followed followed by the pool, and I think we intentionally wanted a tan. Mind you, this is like, barely, I mean, teenager, like
Mhm.
we don't know about sunscreen and life.
Mhm.
People were out of high school, we don't know how to act, right? So we
We
go to the beach, followed by the pool, and I don't know what else we were doing outside the whole day without sunscreen.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the next day or by like sundown, our skins were like 10 shades darker.
Mhm.
Like there was heat like radiating from our bodies. We were so red. It was so painful. We never did it again. We learned our lesson that day.
Yeah. And,
Like
and
there
it,
was nothing that can cool us down.
that's
Not
what
a
I was going to say.
fan, not ice,
Yeah.
not lotion. There was
Yeah.
not water. Water hurt when it hit your body.
Yeah.
Like that's how bad of a tan we have. So it's
Yeah.
just not a smart thing to do.
No. No, we don't do dumb things like that
No,
anymore.
we don't. That was one and done, guys. We learned our lessons. Sunscreen. But guys, let us know what you think in the comments about what Kristin Cavallari said. Like, could we even take her seriously? Do you wear sunscreen? If so, tell us your favorite sunscreen brand.
Yeah.
Mine is Supergoop. Uh, but if they want to, help us out and we could sponsor them, that's cool. All right, guys, that concludes today's video. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Also, please share our video. We're trying to grow our community so your friends could be our friends and we could all be friends. We also have social media, which Steve will tell you about.
We're on TikTok and Instagram at Hear Me Out DNE. So make sure you guys like, follow, share, and comment. You can also listen to some of our videos in podcast format through Spotify and YouTube Music.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.